Yo, 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 everybody, what is up? Welcome back to another episode of the What Now podcast. Spencer and Zach, we're back. What's up, bro?
In the booth.
In
What it
in
do?
in there, like
What it do?
swimwear.
Boop, boop.
What's up, man?
Yes, sir. Coming off your first ever time watching the Masters.
Dude, yeah.
And arguably the best Masters I've ever watched, other than 2019 Tiger Woods, because it was just so nostalgic. But yeah, that was incredible.
Yeah, dude. I'm not a golf guy.
Not
Was not a golf
there we go.
guy. And we took our little bro trip to Granbury, and the shooting 115 got me feeling good.
Man, 9-iron.
Hey, dude, if I could hit every club like my 9-iron, I would be a scratch golfer.
One day.
Something about no, I'm not a good golfer, but it was fun to play, and
No one's really like good at golf. That's not the point. Is not to be good.
It's true.
It's just to enjoy time with your buddies.
Yeah,
in nature.
Yeah. Well, dude, that's true. Nobody's truly good at golf because we watched Bryson just fall apart this last weekend.
Yeah.
Nobody. And Rory, dude, 6-foot putt to win them for the Grand Slam. He just whiffed. And
you want to talk about roller coaster,
dude?
I couldn't imagine the mental. I was talking with a couple of patients, taking care of a few golfers, but just like the mentality to hit it in the water on 13 and just
brutal.
And like, you don't know, like he doesn't necessarily know the scores. Like, it's not like football where like,
yeah,
big scoreboard. Like, he doesn't know until he gets to, I think, 17 what his score is compared to everyone else on the course. I couldn't imagine bouncing back and then hitting some of the shots he hits and then missing that putt and then going to win the playoff. I'm just like,
dude,
his sports psychologist or whoever needs a raise for sure.
Yeah, he needs a cigarette or something. Yeah, dude. One of the things that the Masters taught me this weekend is that just consistently good is better than occasionally great.
100%.
Because, dude, there are some people like yeah, dude, like Rory, bro. Like he had that awesome chip in, and
on Saturday,
on Saturday, and like really doesn't even matter. Like it all came down to the playoff. And same thing with Rose, dude. Like Rose was way back going into Sunday, and he came in to get into the playoff, dude, which is crazy. So
poor guy has finished second in the Masters 3 times now. That's gotta be tough.
It's brutal. But yeah, dude, consistently good is better than occasionally great. Dude, I think that's true. Like in our practices, I think it's true. Like almost in everything in our life, really. It's like it's cool to hit the home run, but like it's more about your on base percentage than it is about how many home runs you hit. And or if you only hit one home run once. Like we had this one friend in high school, and her brother was in the majors, and he was in like AAA ball or whatever the highest level is right under the MLB. He got pulled up to the MLB like for one game, hit a home run, and then drop back down to AAA like the next game. So it's like, dang, dude, it's like it really is all about that consistency. And so that being said, we just finished Q1, kind of in the third week of Q2, starting in April. And it's a good time to reflect, right? And I think that like your quarterly numbers really reflect how consistent that you've been, because you can have a good month and a bad month, and you can have a high week and a low week. And I think that like, dude, just like in like watching the Masters, it's like every shot is a win. Every shot can be detrimental, right? But it's really about like what you do as a whole. Looking at the quarter is a great way to do that. So I know you said that you guys just had your quarterly meeting. What did you guys do for that?
Yeah, so we had our first ever quarterly meeting back in the first week of April, so 2 weeks ago. We took a EOS/ChatGPT approach to it, in the sense that plugged in Traction into ChatGPT, said, hey, can you help me craft our quarterly goal or our quarterly meeting? And it just took us through a structure. It was 3 hours on a Tuesday, and initially, like the idea of a 3-hour meeting, to me as someone that's never really been in corporate ever, a 3-hour meeting sounded miserable, especially as someone that just likes to go kind of do whatever. And what was shocking was the feedback from the team, from the office manager and CA, that was the best meeting I've ever been a part of. That was so helpful. They feel more connected to our mission and our vision, and they feel really charged up to have the best quarter of Within's lifehood or longevity. And so super, super stoked from that. And it was honestly less than 3 hours. We flew through it, never got off topic, and it was great. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm always surprised at how well the meetings go when I actually have an agenda.
Mm-hmm.
The agendas always really make a big deal. But
It's crazy how that works.
I know, right? A little bit of planning goes a long way.
Mm-hmm.
Well, indeed, that's another thing watching the Masters, bro. It's like, dude, they take so long to like just figure out what they're gonna do in each
Mm-hmm.
shot, dude. The assessment is crazy.
Well, the assessment of the wind, the different grass cuts that they're in, it's wild. It's not just, all right, I'm in the rough, I'm going to hit this shot.
Yeah, and so I mean, this is the thing. Like having a quarterly meeting and doing a quarterly review is a really great way to make sure that like at the end of the year, like you're not super off course,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like if you started this year and you're gonna be like, man, dude, we're gonna do 250K this year, and you're at 50K for the quarter in collections, you're like, you're pretty behind, right? And so, but if you never look at that and you're like, oh, dude, we're going to crush and we're going to manifest this 250K, but
Mm-hmm.
you're never actually like looking at your metrics and you're never actually like trying to course correct, like you can manifest all you want, but it's not leading to any action, right?
Right.
That's the biggest thing is like, I think the biggest thing for success is for that like really separates people who are successful or not is like, do you see opportunity? And when you see opportunity, how fast do you take action?
Mm-hmm.
I've been I've been watching, that Instagram profile, School of Hard Knocks.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
see him on TikTok, but yeah,
yeah. Well, I'm not. I'm one of those guys that just says, "Oh, I'm not on TikTok, but I watch Instagram Reels." So
it's okay. Hey.
I just can't have another app, bro. I can't have another app, especially if it's all in the same place. But anyway,
I get it.
but I've been watching that, and a lot of the guys, they're literally like. One of the things that really strikes me that's really interesting about that one is he always asks, like, do you believe in God? Or like,
Mm-hmm.
what's your relationship with your faith? And all the people say yes. Of course I believe in God. Of course I have faith. Of course I
Mm-hmm.
all those things. Without God, none of this stuff would be possible. And so I think that's cool. And like, I mean, the it's pretty obvious like that it does play a big role. But I think one of the big things too is that, they always say like, yeah, of course I have faith. And then they ask, so like, how did you get to your X, Y, and Z? And they say, well, dude, I worked hard. I did things. I took
Mm-hmm.
action. I didn't waste an opportunity, and I think that's like a big thing. And your quarterly meeting is a great way for you to like just kind of assess like where you're at and then take action on it. So what were some of because we're doing like our quarterly review kind of today after this call, what are some of the things that you guys picked up in your quarterly review and you're in your quarterly meeting about last quarter, and then what are you guys going to do this next quarter to correct those things or improve on them?
Yeah, I think a big thing that we realized is um, people love a big focus for the quarterly meeting for us was like the black hole number, our attrition rate. So that's something we really focused on, and we've
How did you
noticed.
calculate that?
So we took just for 2024. We took everyone that was a new patient in 2024, and then if they made it to a third visit, basically meaning if they signed on to care, we then um, just took how many visits they're at or got to. And so some are still patients today, some are not. And then we took the average of that number. So I think it was like 175 patients. And we got our black hole number. If I'm calculating this right, I could be completely wrong. We got our black hole number of, I think it was like 27 or 28, which felt pretty good.
What does the black hole number mean for your practice?
So basically when are people falling off of care?
Mm-hmm.
And so we calculated that. I was very surprised. I honestly, the week before we started calculating it, I asked the team, what do you guys think that number is going to be? I thought it was going to be like 8. Just in my head, I had one CA say 50, and I was like, hell yeah, let's do it. And then another one said 13. So we were about average of what we thought.
How is that different than your PVA?
That's a great question. That's what I was trying to figure. I was like, I feel like this is almost the same thing.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, it kind of is, I guess, in a sense.
Which I feel like that is what it is, right?
No, not necessarily, because your PVA is like your average amount of visits that like each person will come into in your
Right.
lifetime. And so if you're like,
I guess because like our PVA for the last 6 months has been 39. So I don't know.
your PVA, like, well, yeah. So usually, like, your black hole is going to happen, like, I would assume, like, before your PVA, because, like, just as many times as you have people fall off of care, you'll probably just as many times have people stay on the care. And so like those kind of average them out. I would say that like, yeah, I don't know. I mean, the black hole number is a number from that Austin Cohen like talks all about. So we'll have to ask him some more about that. But I would assume that like the best way to calculate your PVA is to look at all of your patients.
Well, yeah, I guess that's what's. So this was just 2024. So this
Yeah.
wasn't including like people that have started 2022, 2023.
See, I know it would be to look at all of your patients in a
Yeah.
running total that
Well,
you've
that's what
ever
I'm saying for
had.
PVA.
Your PVA is just your total visits per week divided by
Yeah.
your new patients.
Yeah.
And so like that's really just kind of like in your year and in your
Hmm.
quarter. I think that's more your PVA is more of like your usage rate. And whereas your black hole is like how long you're holding on to people.
Hmm.
Because like I could have, I mean, there's a bunch of different scenarios, but I would say that the best way to calculate your black hole is to look at every single one of your patients ever and add up how many visits total that those have had ever. Like how many visits have you ever had in the lifetime ever of your office? And then really the way that I would calculate my black hole is I would just look at my care plan finish rate. I
Hmm.
would look at how many people finish their care plan, and of the people who do not finish their care plan, how many visits
So that's something we also looked at.
are those people at? Like, so your care plan completion percentage. So let's say I have
Hmm.
50 people, and 40 of those people have finished the care plan, and 10 people, um, 10 people don't finish their care plan, and they all like one person goes visit 8 and they stop care. One person goes visit 20 and stops
Hmm.
care. And then I would take that and average those numbers.
So we did that as well. So we assumed because our two most on average care plans are a 20 and a 28. And so we said, okay, let's just split the difference, put 24. What was the average stoppage number of those that reached visit 24 or below? And that number was actually 13. So
So you had 13 people not reach visit 24.
no. On average, like the average drop number,
Is
like
13.
if they didn't reach 24 or less, was 13. So that
So
makes sense.
yeah, so that means that your black hole is at visit 13.
Correct, during
So
corrective care,
yeah,
and then
during
28
corrective
during
care.
wellness.
Yep. So then what you would want to do is have like some sort of like retention strategy at visit 11 and 12 to keep people carrying through that visit 13. Same thing at visit 28 in the wellness care. That's what you would look.
It's something that I wish I was tracking this number more often. Is at the start of 2024, we were not doing progress videos. We were just doing progress reports
Mm-hmm.
in person. And we noticed a drastic shift. So we started doing the progress videos again. I want to say, we'll say September, because like end of August. And there was a drastic difference just in people finishing a care plan from the progress videos,
You feel like a tire.
way higher.
It's good to know.
And then it's also, I mean, 2023 with the wedding, like the people that started in March through May, a lot of them did not finish a care plan or start on a wellness, which was very interesting.
Yeah, Kate and I have been going back and forth because the progress videos take a ton of time out of our schedule. But we were like, nah, they're just too valuable. So it's good to hear that like that your metrics show like starting progress visits has been better
Yeah, and I've tried
than
to
not.
figure out the best way because it's one thing to record the videos. Like for us, the videos it takes me max 6 minutes to record the loom going over the progress videos, but there's an additional 4 to 5 minutes of loading that up, sending the email, all of that. So it's
What do you mean
about a
loading it
10.
up?
I mean, just like crafting the email and everything.
Loom AI has like it'll just write an AI email.
I really don't like it's like a weird summary every time, and I don't love it.
My emails are always just, hey Zach, here's the update on your scans. Let me
Yeah,
know if you have questions.
I mean that's what we send to.
I kind of let
So it max takes 8 minutes.
yeah. Yeah, it is a kind of a tedious process, but I think it's worth it. I think it's valuable, and it's always nice like whenever you go back and you look at those videos, like when I'm going to send other videos, and there's like 6 or 7 plays on
Yeah,
that one video. It's good. It's a good
yeah.
sign.
It was interesting. I mean, two of our patients that started in March are from the same, like they were referred in by the same person, and they were like, "Yeah, I saw the video that you sent her. Like she sent it to me," and that's when I made my appointment.
Oh, that's pretty
And I was
sweet.
like, "That's pretty cool."
Yeah. Hmm. I think it's cool always to like, because like if you do them in person and you send those and you give them like a paper or something like that,
Mm-hmm.
you know where that paper's gonna go? Trash
Garbage.
can.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where the video, it lives forever.
Yeah, and I think what's nice too is it allows me to go to the depth that I want to go. And this is going to sound maybe brash, but like without being interrupted, without and I can go back and forth. I can like toggle between this view and that. Like, so it's just really nice to go back and forth too. But yeah, it was very interesting to see that change. Kind of, it'd be I'm not good at Excel and creating graphs and all that, but it'd be funny to see like almost like kind of like a graph of August on and then January to August of last year.
Yeah. I think that yeah, I like the videos. I think they're worth it. We're about to switch to Vimeo for our videos though, because
Mm.
Vimeo is a little more secure. You can like anyway, that's what we're about to look at. But okay, so then what is your plan going forward into Q2?
So our plan, we set our rocks, but kind of under the surface is starting to implement the ideas that we had for retention. So again, taking a lot of what we learned from Austin Cohen at the summit, what was it called, Growth Summit, and implementing that. So finding ways to gift and celebrate specific milestones. I know I talked kind of in length about our day 3 process and day 4 process. Like, let me show you, let me watch you, and then we're going to we have people lay on a dental roll as part of their plan. Again, we're more corrective care,
Mixer.
and so their first. I don't think it's mixing.
Do you get the Hawaiian rolls?
Those are pretty good. More of a sesame seed bun guy. No, but so they love that. They really feel an impact on that. So we're going to start gifting those probably around that visit, 16 to 17,
Mhm.
and
What?
then
Okay, here's a question for you because like we're trying to implement all these kind of things. And Austin once said he's like, "How much do you spend on?" Dude, this is what I'll say about Growth Summit. Growth Summit was one of probably the most like tactically applicable
mm-hmm,
seminars that we've been to. Like
100%.
a lot of the seminars that we've been to, they're so good for like your mindset and your strategy and all that stuff, dude. But like really like the Cairo 180 Growth Summit, that was tactical stuff to take away from, like where to put your money, where what to do in your day 1, day 2, what softwares to use. That was really good, dude. Like I find myself bringing up Growth Summit quite a bit. So shout out to Austin for
Yeah.
hosting a really solid thing.
Are you going to do rim to rim with him?
Rim to rim,
Have you seen him posting about that?
his canyon thing.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Same. Anyways.
But all that being said, is one of the things he asks is like, how many of you guys know how much you spend on your retention for your client? So like, dude, how much does like a dinner roll cost? Like, what are you like? What's your like budget for
I think a dinner
a
roll, if we bulk order them, the last time I checked on Amazon, pre tariffs. No, I'm just kidding. But actually,
but for real?
was I think it was like I think like 50 dinner rolls you could get for $21 or $22 a piece.
Okay. And like, what else do you have like laid into like that retention strategy?
Mm-hmm.
It's really not even a podcast anymore. It's me just really kind of asking you
Yeah.
things. It's kind of how it
So
should
we're
be.
gonna do this is coming from Nikki Cottis at around visit 11 because we found 13 was a black hole. We're going to give them a postcard that has some stickers attached to it that say, and the postcard's going to be like, thanks for sticking with us, kind of just play on words.
Cool.
Yep. Give them some fun stickers and then a t shirt at visit after their 4th wellness visit. So that's dependent on their plan. But once they basically completed their first month of wellness, they'll get a t shirt.
And
And
how are you
so
tracking that?
tracking,
Who's finished their first month of wellness? Who's at
I
visit
mean,
11?
yeah, so like visit, that'll be more on the CAs, but I mean, our EHR tracks each visit and it just has like a counter readily available for it.
Yeah,
So that
cool.
part will be a little bit more like so we have two wellness plans, like we have once a week or every other week. So once they finish that,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's always my biggest thing is just like how, like when I go to implement something new, the first thing I think about is like, all right, how do I do this at scale? So like, it's cool if I do it for 10 people. What if I had 1,000 people, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like how do I 100x, not even just 10x, like, because like if I can do it for 10,
That's been my
I could probably do it for 100. But if it's
that's my
like,
biggest hiccup with the t-shirts. is just all the different sizes.
I'll send you a thing. I have this one lady that we just met with, and she can basically she takes all your stuff, she gives you a mock-up, and then she'll drop ship you at order. Like at
Nice.
order at the same wholesale price, like whatever you want.
Oh, that's really cool.
So you can
That's
do like
unheard of.
you could do golf balls, you could do whatever. You can order all the promotional products you want, but you build your own store and then you can just order like per size. If you want to order 2 t-shirts, you can order 2 t-shirts.
Nice.
If you want to order 200, then you order 200. We have a thing because that's like my biggest issue too. Is like, dudes, like I don't have the space, and I don't necessarily want to stock like an entire Old Navy's worth of T-shirts.
Hmm.
Like, I'm not trying to have a whole closet dedicated just to T-shirts and just to
And
this
here's
and just to
and
that.
this was
It's
this
like,
was an interesting thing from our quarterly meeting was, my office manager and CA were like, well, what if someone would prefer a hat or a sweatshirt? I'm like, no, like they're getting a t-shirt.
yeah, that's what I'm
Like
talking
we're
about,
not.
bro. It's like you can't make everybody happy, but you try to at the same time. Like it's
I'm like,
hard.
overall, most people are excited about a t-shirt.
Hmm.
It's when you start trying to like add the hat or add the hoodie, and then it just gets too complicated on our end.
Yeah. So that's cool. We yeah, I know, and like we see like such a wide variety of people in different cases and stuff like that. It's like, dude, I want to give them like things that they're actually going to use because like I hate getting stuff from places like that. I'm like, oh hey, look, trash. Like, how many people actually use the toothbrush that their dentist gives them?
Not me.
Right? Like
I
I
mean,
have
I
my
haven't
own
been to
like
the dentist in a
I
while.
have my own fancy toothbrush, right? But at the same time, how cool would it be is every time I go to the dentist, my dentist would give me the toothpaste that I like, right? Like that, and that's the difference, bro. Like that's what I'm trying to figure out, you know?
Well, and that's another thing I try to think of too is like I kind of like the stickers are fun. Like you can throw them on a water bottle. At the same time, I've been like, are most of those going to end up in the trash? Another thing was we were going to do. So we see a lot of people like I would say 80% of the people we see when I ask them their top 3 goals of care, percent of the time that third goal is lose weight, which we're not a weight loss clinic, but we've had I think 7 patients at this point lose over 100 pounds, which is pretty cool.
Mm.
So we
With
were like,
Finn,
yeah, yeah. That's pretty funny.
we Finn.
But with that said, like a lot of our people are fitness workout people. So like, should we give a blender bottle, like with our logo on it? But I mean, I look at my cupboard as someone that's, been in the gym my whole life and I have 15 blender bottles. My wife's like, can we throw
All of them
all of
away.
them away?
Yeah,
They're
literally.
plastic.
That's
So
right, dude.
then,
And that's what I'm saying, bro. It's like it's giving people gifts that like they actually like that are not crap that you can do at scale. Because like the custom one-off gifts are sweet. At scale, they're so hard to do. Like unless you have a fully dedicated hospitality team. And like we're small business, dude. Like I don't have a hospitality
yeah.
team, you know?
So
So
one thing
that's like my thing.
another thing we took away from Growth Summit is that get to know you. So on their 5th visit, and this will be easier with Kyra HD because it'll actually give us alerts. So I'm excited about that. We're going to send out a text, and we already have the Google form of like, get to know us, get to know you. Like, where's your favorite place to eat? What's your favorite drink? Like, all these small little questions. And then in the Google form, like, it's like, where's your favorite place to eat? Dr. Zach's is blank, and Rachel's is this. And so it's just like filling that in. I think we've sent it to like 10 people now. I think 2 people have done it.
Well, that's the thing too, is like, okay, that's great if I want to do these, but then like
Are they getting done?
how do I get people to fill them out? Like, and that's again, it's just all about follow up, right? And so it's like, dude, it's like, how do we do that? And so I mean, these are the kind of projects though that I really like to work on, and these are the kind of things that I like to like work, like think through in my deep work sessions. But it's cool. Okay, so that's what you're gonna apply from in your next quarter. Sweet. It sounds like a good plan, dude. It sounds like you have a lot to work on.
Yeah, it's fun to like. I like mapping stuff out. That's why I loved neurology. To me, it was all
Nerd.
like a map. I guess so. I mean, I sucked at everything else.
I like
So,
neuro too. It's okay. Neuro was cool.
but I like seeing the map and getting like a big whiteboard out and kind of tracking all that through. Like that's why I love the customer journey so much.
Yeah, dude. I think like just making on the nerd comment, like, yeah, I think that you have to like love to study like the things because if you're like, dude, what was your favorite class? And you're like, full spine adjusting, bro. That's cool, but like FSA was cool, but I mean, we did so much adjusting.
Yeah. RIP for us though. Like FSA because that was what 5, 6, 7. That was majority COVID.
Maybe. I don't know. But hey, one of the things I was
Quick
talking
flex
about
the
though,
oxpo lift.
if you
Sorry.
guys are yeah, if you guys are students and you would be interested in us hosting an adjusting intensive seminar, not just me and Zach, but with people like Colton and Kelsey Wood, a lot of the people that are around here in the DFW area. If you guys are here, that was something that Kayla and I were talking about, because to kind of bring up what we're going to be working on in Q2 is we just hired an associate doctor.
Woo!
And our associate, she's a new grad. We're super excited for her to come on. And she seems like a great fit. At the same time, she was a student. So, like, she adjusts like a student, which, like, some students adjust great. Some students are not great adjusters. But, like, I mean, you just know a seasoned doctor versus a student. And, like, it just is a thing. Like, and it's not a bad thing. She's put in a lot of work and she has a great foundation. But it's like, dude, we're going to be teaching her, like, all of these, like, facet versus disc level versus cord level adjusting and like all of those kind of things like that are kind of second nature to us. So if you guys are interested in those, let us know. I think it would be cool for us to put it on. If you guys want that, maybe we'll make it happen. But in Q2, that's what we're working on. I'm working on laying out my associate doctor training manual, looking at getting our branding shifted to not just me and Kate, but to a third
Mm.
doctor, working
Can
on
we
that.
can we dive into that a bit? Because that's something I was just talking at our weekly meeting yesterday about, is our office tour and just some of like the scripts we have will mention like Dr. Zach, or like it'll say my name, and I'm like, whoa, like if I'm thinking about hiring an associate and my staff is trained to like say my name as the chiropractor and then it's not Dr. Zach they're seeing, I'm like, that's not good. So what are you guys doing to rebrand as Empower Chiropractic Chiropractors and not Spencer and Caitlin?
Yeah, I mean, I've always like known that it's not going to just be me. And honestly, I never thought that it would be me and Caitlin. Like that kind of came about last year. It was a blessing. And so really, I always just was like, kind of like, what is the brand of Empower? And honestly, like I think about it like all the time. Like if someone approached me and asked me to buy Empower for a deal that I couldn't pass up, I probably would, because I would just start over again and I would just rebuild. But like all that being said is because like I just think about the business. It's not that I would like want to get out of practice or anything like that, but I think about the business, about making an exit. How do I have something that lasts longer than me? Because at the end of the day, it's like, even if I'm not in practice, say I'm 80 years old and I'm dying, or I'm 180 years old and I'm on my deathbed, I would still want like the legacy and the mission and the purpose that Empower has to carry forward. I feel like if Empower's impact dies with me, then it's not even really making that big of an impact. It's just me doing things. So all that being said, my biggest thing has been just to try to say like, how do I set this up as it's more about chiropractic care, it's more about the brand, it's more about the mission and what we stand for than it is who's doing the adjustments on the table.
Mm-hmm.
It was a really easy, or it was an easier transition bringing Kate on because she was my wife. But now that I'm not married to our new associate, they are going to have to learn how to like embody the culture. And the goal is basically to get people ingrained and pick up the company values enough to where people say like, it feels like you've been here the whole time. That's my goal,
Mm-hmm.
is like for people to say like, I know that you've just gotten here, but it feels like you've been here the whole time with us. That's like my big thing. Like when we did the office decoration, like when we moved into our new bigger office that allowed us to have the space to hire somebody, everybody said like, I feel like you are now where you're supposed to be. And I was like, what does that mean? They're like, well, I feel like this is always meant to been your office, like this vibe and this space and all that stuff. It just feels very on brand. And it means like, so like it's not a surprise that all of the things that are in the office to people, because it's consistent with our branding. And so that's what when we went through the hiring process, we were really intentional
Mm-hmm.
about who is going to be a good culture fit, who like walks our walk and talks our talk and has our same values, to where like when you're with me, when you're with Caitlin, when you're with Logan, when you're with our new doc, all of those people, you feel the same way with them, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's all culture. And so I need to get Mike on here to talk about company culture, because he's been helping me a lot with that. I mean, beast of a businessman. So, and then we can also get Nicole on there to like talk about how we like actually branded our space, like to actually fulfill that and get that to come to life in the office, which is cool. So That's kind of what we're working on, dude, is like just what does our company culture stand for? How do we build people up into those kind of leaders and all of those things? And the growth of the business like will just come from that because we'll just have more space and capacity and energy to serve more people, and that will inherently lead to growth. And if we have the right people in the right seats doing the right thing, then all else will kind of follow suit. We're in a really healthy space right now, like number wise and metric wise. And so, like, I'm really right now, my goal is not necessarily to increase numbers, but to increase our capacity and increase our culture. And a byproduct of that should be an increase in our.
And so, with going back to what you mentioned about making it feel like she has always been there,
Mm-hmm.
what are you going to be doing? One, to help her get into the culture, but then also get patients equipped to her. I think that's what I was trying to say. Yeah.
Oh yeah. So, well, one thing is like obviously we had our offer letter, and so we filled that out and signed it. And then we had an employee agreement, which is like all of our legal contracture and all that kind of stuff to go along with the offer. And those are all just like regular white PDFs. Like I don't need to. But then what I did is I made a welcome letter and a job description, and I had all of that branded like to our stuff. And the brand talked about and the branded off job description basically just said like, hey, welcome to Empower. This is our mission. This is our vision. These are our company's core values and tenets. This is how we operate. This is our expectations of you, and all of these things. And we have her sign it. And but all of that's like branded with like our little Pelican E logo, and it has like all of our fonts and stuff, and it's nice and pretty because that just like sets the standard of like this is the vibe that we're trying to put across. And these are the standards and what we consider a success for you to carry this brand with you. And so I did that kind of intentionally, like one, because I didn't want to just send her another white piece of paper that was really boring. But I sent her this branded thing to where like, well, now I'm reading like company values. Now I'm reading, these are the things that matter. All the other stuff, that's just legal and like semantics and stuff to like make it official. But this is the stuff that actually matters. And so she doesn't start. I told her, hey, take a month off of school. He just graduated on Saturday. So we said, I want you to take a month off. One, just to relax and enjoy and celebrate your win. And two, to prepare yourself because there's going to be a lot of work to be done. And so in the next month, like as we're building out the training and stuff for her, the first thing that I'm going to focus on is like going over the mission, going over the vision, going over all of those kind of things. And we'll have her watch those before we do day one, day two, before we do baby adjusting, before we do pregnancy adjusting, before we do all that kind of stuff.
Nice.
Can you hear the dog?
Just a little bit. It's not too bad.
People are cutting the grass.
But no, I think it's really important, regardless where you're at in any hiring process. I know it's something I have done and not done is talk about like company values and like core values in the interview process, and then really like the first month or 6 weeks of someone starting, like really reiterating that. And the times where I either skipped that step or just overlooked it are the times where those people didn't really stick around or they weren't the right fit.
Yeah, I think that like it comes with a lot of like maturity in business. I think when you're hiring at first, like, dude, you just need help
Yeah.
because like it's like at some point it's like I just need help. And now we kind of have like our core little team, like me, Kate, and Logan, and we're hiring like not accessory pieces, but complementary pieces to that. Like we just hired this girl Brittany to help with the front desk. We brought our graphic design girl Danny back on after she started her own company because she was just a great piece for us, like a great like she just everything that she does is a really good compliment for our brand. And honestly, shout out to Danny because she helped us get like really clear on our brand. And then now we have this new associate doctor that sorry, we just hired these like a lawn care company, and Nola is barking at them so bad.
That's fair.
But anyway, so like I think that like as you mature in business, like for a while it was so hard for me to narrow down like my mission and vision statement. But I feel like as like I've matured, like it's become a lot more clear. It's because it's like these are the people who I really like to serve. This is what lights me up. Where before it was like, dude, I'm just trying to pay bills. I'm just trying to make it by. But yeah, dude, like our mission is like truly is to like empower people to acknowledge how perfect God created their body through chiropractic care. Like
Mm-hmm.
that's what it is. We want chiropractic care to be the vessel that leads people to the gospel of Christ. That's our biggest thing. And chiropractic care is not like a religious act. It's not a supernatural thing, but we just want to be a place where it's so evident that we're believers that people don't have to ask. That's our mission. And our vision is really just to be the first resource for families in North Texas. We want anyone who has a baby that has a question to think of us first. That's our big goal. All right. So how do we put out education? But really it's how do we build relationships enough? Because it's like, yes, like we want to be the first resource, and there are a lot of places that have a lot of resources, but not a lot of people are resourceful in using them.
Hmm.
And the way that you use the resources that people give you is because you have a relationship with them. And so we become people's first resource when we build a relationship first. Like we have a good relationship. I'm going to ask you a question before and trust your opinion before I ask my neighbor who I don't know.
Hmm.
Right. And so it's the same thing is like we're just trying to know people and trying to get to know people and get people to know us, and that'll help build trust. And whether we tell them like, yeah, you should get under chiropractic care, which I think everybody should be under chiropractic care, or not, like, right, just saying like, hey, use this supplement, use this product, you should check out this school, you should think about living in this neighborhood, all of those things, like that's kind of like what we're trying to be as a chiropractic office, is like not just the provider but just a friend for people. And you ask your friends first. So that's kind of how we're looking to build the brand, right? So when we bring people on for interviews, like this is what I'm telling them, like, hey, this is our mission, this is our vision. Do you feel like you can uphold to those, right? And if people can actually subscribe to those tenets, then yeah, it's going to feel like that they're a part. They've been a part of the thing for forever. So I think it's getting clear on like your mission and vision and like why what you do actually matters. So where then if people aren't on board with what you do and they don't see why what you do matters, then they honestly don't have a seat on the bus, and you should just wait to bring
Yeah.
somebody else on. So
And that was something going to the mission and vision. So I was always a big part of our mission is to allow individuals to eliminate pain without the use of drugs or surgery. Just, I mean, that goes deeper. But with that, I asked our team at like a very surface level during the quarterly meeting. I think it'd be too redundant if we did it on a weekly basis. But quarterly, I was like, how do you guys feel in Q1 as part of our reflection? We accomplished our mission and our vision for those that we serve. And that was really cool too, because they had stories in their head that I didn't have, and vice versa. And so I think that that's something that we, during our Q1 reflection, we're like, wow, like we didn't hit this metric, but we're really proud that we are on mission. And then also like really dove in Q4 to our ideal client, and then asking our team like, do you feel like you see our ideal client coming into the office 80, 90% of the time? We're like, yep, 100%, you know. So,
yeah, I think that, dude, it really, at the end of the day, everything boils down to leadership and culture.
mhm.
Your culture is set by the standards that your culture is upheld and established by the standards that your leadership upholds. And so, dude, it really comes back down to you, dude. Again, like it comes back down to your self worth, comes back down to your how well you lead yourself. Then you'll lead your team. If you lead your team well, you'll set a good culture. If you set a good culture, then you'll take care of people well. So, cool, man. Well, I think that is all we got today, but
I think you're
that was
right.
pretty solid.
I would agree.
All right, guys. Thanks for listening to the podcast, and we'll see y'all next time.
Peace.